All right. This is round one of the Weaponographist Wiener tournament, the greatest tournament that man has ever encountered. We're going to do it on go if you guys are both ready. Is Elric ready? Because I'm seeing him not on the teleport menu yet.
Elric is probably going to
Yes.
go in the front
Yeah,
entrance. He's a
Okay.
naturalist.
That's all right. Whichever way you like. Then, all right. Without further ado, ready, set, go.
Wieners!
Start your wiener engine.
They have not started.
Well, you remember, you're a minute back.
No, not a full minute.
Oh, roughly a minute.
All right, rock
Yeah.
on.
All right. So, what are your predictions for this main event?
So yeah, as I reload every channel ever to actually catch up
You're the worst.
and see what you're seeing. Yeah, I am the worst. So my prediction, obviously, the odds-on winner for this one is Elric M. He's been playing this game a lot, more so than maybe anyone else in the world. That's the reason why I know Elric. I guess I met him in probably Unicorn Hole's channel or It's Gimme's channel, maybe. But he took to this game in a way that I did not think was possible when we created it. He loves it more than we do, and so he has been playing this game a whole lot. So yeah, he's kind of my odds-on winner. However, Overpowdered Lull, he actually set some of the first world records that we ever had. When the demo was first live, he was streaming it, and he was tenacious, and he kept going over and over and over again, min-maxing until he finally got the world records for depth 1 and 2. So he's my dark horse.
Yeah,
for
I
the
gotta
whole
say, I gotta support the dark horse. I feel like he has been doing really well and did not until now have a max save file. So I feel like it's almost like training with in Dragon Ball, the weight clothes on and everything weighs 100 more pounds than it ought to, and all of a sudden he takes that stuff off and he's just unbridled and he's ready to go. He's the strongest man alive and he didn't even know it.
Did you see this technique here with Elric? Is the hugging technique?
Yes.
It's something he's perfected. He's actually, yeah, there he goes. Whenever Elric gets his hands on the fire staff, he's been known to loudly exclaim, "Hugging, hug everyone, hugging!" And he runs around and he actually face rolls with it.
He does. The
Which is
fire.
not what you intended, is it?
It's not. No. So the fire ring was originally supposed to be kind of a little combination offensive defensive weapon, but I have found that I do the same thing. I pick up the fire ring and like ideally I've got some kind of melee weapon to go with it. Either, chainsaw is ideal because then you stack that dot damage twice at once and you just mow through enemies. So I am a fan of the hugging actually. I find that the faster you go, obviously like the nature of the game is the faster you go, the stronger you get. But beyond that, the faster you go, the more health drops per getting hit. So I even feel like the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah, and especially when your sole purpose of playing the game is not just to get far. It's actually to get farther faster before your competitor.
Right.
At that point, face rolling actually becomes almost a necessity.
So, let's see, these opening rooms, we're just getting started. We're just warming up. But it looks like we've got really evenly matched right now. Actually, Overpowdered, if you want to hit the tab button, I don't know if you can hear us anymore. And if that's not easy, then never mind, just so we can see your room. But
He's in the zone.
yeah. I'm liking what I'm seeing. It's cool. It's those early rooms. So the way that every depth is kind of built is the first couple rooms are always your starter rooms to introduce you to those new enemies that you may not have seen before. So you're not going to have any magic weapons in those first two rooms. You're not going to have too many enemies. You're going to have usually two enemies. One of them's new, one of them's old, no magic. And as it goes on, you're going to start to, by the end of the depth, have multiple magic users in the room and 5 different enemies and all that. And so it's cool right now seeing everybody kind of get off on the same page. But as they start to get to more complex rooms, I think that's when we'll start to see somebody, break away or conversely, big swings on who's ahead.
Yeah, likewise. The first two depths, I would say for most of the competitors in this whole competition, are going to be very close. It's only when you get around to depth 3 and depth 4 where people will start to pull ahead based on experience, because there are some people who are just experts on depths 1 and 2. Who really don't have all that much experience later in the game because they became experts on the demo. And Overpowdered is one of those. I would actually put him likely... it's going to be tight, it's going to be close, but he's likely to pull ahead of Elric slightly. But then I would imagine Elric is going to shine in depth 3 and 4.
Sure. So let's talk about depth one. Is there any specific depth one strategies, given the weapons that are available? What would you say is your favorite weapon and weapon combo for depth one?
I like the machine gun. It's
Yeah.
not logical. It doesn't do as much damage as some of the other weapons, but it's just the way that I play is kind of mindless.
Hmm.
Especially because for me it's sense memory at this point. I don't really think about what I'm doing unless I'm testing something very specific.
Yeah.
So I like to just hold down the button and run around strafe. I'm very simple.
First one to boss is overpowdered. First one to hit boss one. Our T-Rex. Our
Yeah,
big old barfing T-Rex.
it's as we feared.
He's a magician.
Yep, and I think he's been practicing. I think he's very modest, but he's very modest. Let's say off stream, but he was practicing. I think he practiced all day yesterday.
I think it's just in his bone. Wow, that's
Wow, that was
complete.
disgusting.
That was crazy. What was that?
Oh my
Just a
God.
firing and gun combo. Well, but look at Elric now, just melting down the boss the same way. So
For
my
sure,
strategy
yeah.
is wrong. If I was to share, I was going to say that my optimum strategy for boss one is don't use your magic until you're level 5, because it does more damage. But you know what?
Sure.
Maybe that's right on hardcore. On normal, I have not been racing normal as much, and on normal, clearly you can kill him before you're level 5. So the goal is just pour that DPS out.
And also, when it comes to advanced hugging strategies, there's just you can't really predict what Elric is going to do. I would have thought he would have saved it until level 5 as well, but he just jumped at the chance to hug the boss, and ultimately it probably paid off for him.
Oh yeah, no, it's really interesting to see the differences in speed strategies between hardcore and normal. The biggest difference really being how much health does your enemy have. Because if you can kill him before you're level 5, obviously, you've won him by all counts, and that's what just happened right there. Both competitors knew that.
What do you think about the choice that both gladiators made today to keep us in their ears? Do you think they're regretting that at this point? Because I've heard Magic the Gathering, or Magic the G, who's actually the world champion most leaderboard times right now. He said very explicitly, "I don't want you talking to me while I'm doing this. I will go back maybe later and listen to some of your commentary about what happened, but I don't want to hear you."
Right, and that makes sense to me. In retrospect, I don't know how a person would hear us say "Ready, Set, Go" but not have to hear us.
Yeah,
I guess.
no, they do. We should have.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, if it's really a problem, they'll throw their headphones off.
Right. Well, but they're talking to their own chats, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, they can't. They
And-
probably have to. They'll probably mute us as well.
And again, anybody who's watching who is not watching one of these competitors directly, if you want to at least pop them on in a tab, make sure that you throw them a favorite. It's Elric M and Overpowdered Lol. You're going to want to call him Overpowered, which he is. He is an overpowered person, but Overpowdered is his handle.
So a little bit about Elric and Overpowdered. They are, they're very regular streamers. Overpowdered, I know, streams every day, if not almost every day. He recently quit his job, which I think is at NASA or something, or used to be. But now he is not an astronaut anymore, and I made that job thing up. But he is,
sure.
he streams every day, and I've seen him play a lot of Skyrim. Likes to play a lot of open world stuff, and he's getting a lot of followers lately. And Elric as well plays. When he streams a game, and probably when he plays it as well, like off stream. He will play the hell out of it. He I thought he was joking when he first started to play the Weaponographist, when he would say he was only playing the demo, and he said, "I'm going to play this for like 1,000 hours." And I said, "How? How will you play this demo for 1,000 hours?" But he did. I told him that if you punch the wishing well 50,000 times, that you would unlock an Easter egg.
I recall that.
And he
You're
punched
a bad
it
person.
a lot of time. And I told him almost immediately, punching the wishing well doesn't do anything, but it was too late. The damage had been done.
You're a bad person for leaving out the fact that it only counts if you're also walking clockwise around the wishing well. And if
Don't
you're
tell
not,
him
then
that.
the whole thing's a waste of time.
He'll try it.
So, all right, let's talk depth 2 then. God, these guys are blazing through. It's super cool to watch. Depth 2. I gotta say, my favorite, Tuba. I got it, Tuba whenever it's handy.
You know, the tuba, we always knew the tuba was going to be fun and strong.
Yep.
But I don't even maybe want to give this away, but there's certain times in the game when the tuba is more than overpowered. It's really, really strong. I'm a big fan of the tuba.
I'm intrigued. I'm not sure I know what you mean. When is the Tuba more than strong?
It's on certain bosses. It is, as is the case with any magic, really. But and I'm hoping to see one of these guys do it today, so I don't want to like spoil it if they're listening.
Okay.
But there's certain scenarios where, street legal, where you can use the tuba to probably shave like a minute and a half off your time.
Mm-hmm. Elric, if you can hear us, and no worries if you can't, but of course you wouldn't have heard me say that if you can't. Your chat is asking you to hit tab twice, just so they can see what room you're on, so that they can compare between you and Overpowdered.
So, Danny, are you really that much of a multitasker that you are managing our chat, maintaining both of the streams, and then also reading the chats of Overpowdered and Elric M?
I'm reading all 3 chats right now, yeah.
That's crazy, because I can only use one eye at a time.
Well, yeah, but the other one is busy shooting lasers most of the time. So.
No, it's relaxing. I don't like to do all those
Elric.
things at once. Wow.
Oh man, yeah, I'm happy we see that now. It is super close. In fact,
wow.
Now you can hear us talk about who's in the lead and who's close. I'm not even going to mention who's in the lead because it's too close to matter at the moment.
Let's talk about this disparity in visible time. Is that because of loading? Do they have different machines, and is that going to play a part?
You know what? Yes, but that plays a part. And
Oh, it does, of
well,
course.
I mean, yeah, there's not much we can do about it. Though I think mostly what you're seeing is stream lag. I've seen Elric's stream slow down and speed up a couple times, and kind of do the fast forward catch up thing.
Sure, yeah.
So there's probably some of that too, but it'll balance out over the course of the run.
Well, luckily we have our true time, which is 10 minutes and 25 seconds at this point. That is... Can you believe they've gotten this far in 10 minutes and 25 seconds? It's kind of crazy.
Crazy pants. Oh, you know what? That's part of the disparity, too. We're not looking at full run time, and they didn't hit depth 2 at the same time. Elric
Right.
made a big comeback. He was not the first one by a long shot to depth 2. So those clocks shouldn't be synced. Those are depth clocks.
Certainly, yeah. I'm actually going to do what I should have done a while ago and take note of the time that we started. So I
Okay.
can have like a proper time for this run.
All right. Well, I'm also running on stream, if you can see my stream.
I do.
The game clock, so to speak.
I do see it. But I want to get the time of day. That's what like a real doctor would do. I'm a doctor, by the way.
I don't trust that. I think you're like that kid who was working in that OBGYN office for a while.
That's a true story, actually.
That is a gross true story.
No, I mean about me.
Oh, you were that kid?
Well, no, I wasn't
Now I'm
that
not even
kid.
upset at the kid
Wasn't
anymore.
that
If that
actual
was you, I
kid.
can't be mad at you.
No, when I was a teenager, a friend of mine's father was a gynecologist, and he got these tickets to a baseball game for like 4 tickets to a baseball game, but all he had to do was go to a gynecology conference in the hot dog room.
Yep.
Let that sink in for a second. And he hated stuff like that. He never took bribes or swag or whatever.
I'm going to cut in
you
for
call it.
1 second because something
Sure.
big just happened. We just got 2 runes at the same time. Overpowdered got the double damage, whereas Elric got the speed.
Okay.
They are like 30 seconds apart right now. No, they're like 15 seconds apart right now.
Elric
Both
pulled
about
ahead.
to be depth 2. Elric is ahead by moments. Boom, both done on depth 2.
Oh, wow.
Crazy. Well done, guys. All right, sorry. Doctors and boats and baseball.
Yeah, I don't know why. I forgot we were not just having a casual conversation, but I posed as a gynecologist when I was 19, and a lot of people believe me, and that's stupid.
Did you do horrible things, or was it more about the free food?
We just ate hot dogs.
Okay. All right. Depth 3. You know what? Depth 3? Yo-yo is one of my favorite weapons.
You know what? I don't love the yo-yo as you do.
I know.
I understand its utility, but it doesn't resonate with me in the way that even the pinecone shooter does.
My favorite weapon tends to change over time. It, like, week to week can be super different.
So you're going to come around on the boomerang any day now.
The boomerang, for a long time, was one of my number 1 favorites. And somehow I just don't feel like its DPS stacks up to its difficulty in use. And so for me, given that plus them being one of the more difficult enemies to dodge, the boomerang's just not for me anymore. You
I will
grow,
say
you mature,
that-
you learn. That's life.
In some of the forthcoming content, which may see the light of day someday, I've actually found the boomerangs to be incredibly useful when I'm outnumbered. I see all the satyrs coming at me, and I say, not this again. But then if I use the boomerangs correctly, I'm rewarded with pulling ahead a bit.
Yep. This is a good time to say, actually, or it's at least a time to say. So we do have, I'm still being coy with what it is, but we've got some new content coming out this week. Or at least we're 99% sure it's this week. It's going to have a handful of new modes of play. It's going to have a handful of new rule sets and things. And some rebalancing. So that'll be interesting. For round 2 of the tournament, everyone's going to be playing under very slightly modified rules.
Yeah.
Very slightly.
Depending on when round 2 starts. I mean, it'd be good. It'd be nice to have a clean break where round 1 ends and then we do a content update and then round 2 starts and we see how that goes. But that's not how life works, is it?
No.
Because we have a couple of other things that we really can't talk about that are not entirely in our hands. They're going to happen soon, but we don't know the exact day.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to time everything, like so that so that the announcement to the press is actually ripe with a cornucopia of options for them to write about.
A veritable cornucopia of satyrs with boomerangs.
Right.
All right.
My favorite. This is my favorite. The Banshee head.
Yeah. Yeah?
So you can clear a room with it. I mean, yeah, it's got drawbacks, but that's to keep it from being, ridiculously overpowered.
Yeah.
Clearing a room with any weapon is so satisfying.
Wait, what did you call it? What did you call the weapon?
The Banshee head?
Okay, alright. Wasn't sure if you said Gorgon head.
Let's talk about this.
Let's
so
talk
in the
about
code, the green lady is called Gorgon, and this is
Yes.
because originally she was designed. And this was a holdover from some other game ideas we had. She was going to be a Medusa or a Gorgon,
Mm-hmm.
and she was going to turn people to stone, or confuse them, or do some other things to them that never panned out. When it turned into a scream, I said, "Cool, no problem. That would be awesome. Let's have a laser that takes up the whole screen." But if it's a scream, she's a Banshee now. She's not a Gorgon anymore.
Right. And
And
just
the code
didn't want to
still
change
says
my
Gorgon.
code. All I would have to do is refactor. But actually, like a similar story is it true? I think on like a Mac, if you Alt-Tab our first game Concursion, then it'll just call it Genre Mashup because that was the production name until we had a title.
That is true.
And so the holdover on that I think is funny that like we haven't talked about. I don't know if you may or may not be aware of this.
Weapon swap?
Well, no, that we actually did fix for this one. But what I like is the save file format for Concursion is .gmu, which stands for .genre mashup.
Right, okay.
And then the save file format for this is, I think, .w something something for Weaponographist. I think I actually made it. But the settings file that saves that saves your video settings and all is actually still GMU.
I think I didn't completely mute that burp, but I wish that I didn't hit mute at all.
I didn't know that you had burped.
It
so
was glorious,
and
it tasted good.
I feel like I missed out on a burp.
Right.
Whoa! Look at the head-to-head here.
My
They're
God.
both in the checkpoint room in Depth 3. The same checkpoint room.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, okay. Alex got his full run clock on, which threw me off.
Yeah, but the checkpoint's right there.
Yep.
It's crazy pants. They are absolutely neck and neck.
Like, should it be even this close? They're very different. Their styles are different.
So I was about to ask exactly that. What are you seeing as a difference in approach between Elric and Overpowdered styles?
Honestly, nothing. I would say that Overpowdered, his flow of movement is a little bit more seamless. He seems to be choosing his path before he dispatches the enemy and then continuing on. Whereas Elric is very methodical and has all of these enemies memorized, so he's just kind of, he takes a moment, he looks at it, and then he goes, okay, I know exactly what to do, and he heads over to the guy.
Right. What advice would you give these competitors?
Jeez. Elric, I would say, I don't. This is gonna sound. You're not gonna like it. But I would say maybe you've played enough.
No, you're the bad person.
I know,
Why would
he
anyone
just
ever
plays
say
it all
that?
the time?
Why are you a bad person?
I don't know. I worry about him.
Do you like being sad? Is that what it is?
He buys copies of the game, like multiple copies. He wants us to come out with a 4-pack. I don't understand. I'm not joking. He gets angry when I say we're never gonna do that. He wants to be able to buy 4 copies of the game at once. I don't understand it. I shouldn't tell him to stop.
I'm really torn between wanting to do that multiplayer mode that we've discussed and realizing that it's kind of a silly idea.
Well, at what point are we going to move on to another project? And
That's
I'll just be candid. When are we going to seek funding for another project as opposed to continuing to support this one as it finds its legs? Like I don't think we should rebuild the Weaponographist anymore. We should let it be what it wants to be.
Rebuild?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like add things.
I don't know. If there's fun stuff, there's fun stuff. Fun stuff is fun.
Now we're in a fight.
I hate you and you smell like bad things and butts.
Well, I want you to be able to do what you do best, which is to dive into a project and explore all the options and build stuff. I don't want you to be limited by the thing we already made because I know you have more ideas than you.
Alright.
But I also want to watch people speed run the hell out of this game.
Yeah, let's talk about this game.
I've watched more people play this game than I ever thought would, honestly, or more than I ever. Like 2 years ago, we didn't think that there would be a way to actually watch everyone play the game that we made.
The Ulrich's chat agrees we should have a 4-pack, by the way.
What are you guys gonna do with 4 copies of the game?
Well, I guess the idea is friends, right?
Yes, I know.
Most of us have those. Ha! Burn on you! Burn.
Back to what you were saying though. Should we do a multiplayer? Kind of, but isn't that maybe something we should be doing for like a sequel as opposed to an expansion?
Or like a potential console version.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's really interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
If
we port to console, like maybe there's, because console multiplayer is so much easier to kind of wrap your head around as a user. You got 4 controllers, you plug them right in, no problem.
Yep.
So I'm gonna just go back on everything I said. If we are porting to console, we should definitely do multiplayer. We should stop what we're doing and start making that right now.
Oh man. Oh yes, I was just watching the pogo stick on the stage. One of the most satisfying things I think you can do in Depth 3 is use that pogo stick to destroy a satyr's horn. And
Absolutely.
just leave him totally unarmed.
Yeah, and did we found that and we. I found it and I said it was a bug and you said no, it's awesome.
Yeah, no, fully intentional.
Yeah, it is.
That's why if you destroy their horn, they won't make a new one and keep throwing. They become defenseless.
Which I like. I like to let them just wander around like defenseless.
Yeah. So in fact, I'm gonna share some cool tips.
Okay.
Stuff that I've shared before, but I think are still like cool, neat, strategic things. Legend of Zora. Ha ha ha! I'm reading all chats. Yeah, Dave and I are the developers. I didn't realize that Overpowered was restreaming or our voice. So yeah.
Hello, Legend of Zora. We rated her the other night. Sorry, just saying hi.
So alright. So one of my favorite things in Depth 3 is that the pogo stick destroys enemy projectiles. And so for some enemies, like the Kraken, that can make them a little easier, things like that. But for the satyr specifically, if you destroy his horn, he's done throwing. He just becomes harmless, which I think is really fun. Another thing I don't always take advantage of, but when health becomes an issue, I start to watch, is the game is actually built such that the more health rests on the ground already, the less health will drop. And so, if you ever find yourself in need of health, a cool trick is just make sure to prioritize picking it up. The faster you pick it up, the more likely it is that you get another one sooner. So for me, that's like a tip that I routinely try to bear in mind.
I'm gonna pretend I knew that because I'm the tester. I don't think I knew that. I don't think I knew that exactly as described.
Yeah, that was a last month-ish sort of change. I think we both didn't like it when someone was doing really well, and health would sometimes stack up on the ground.
Right.
And so that was a way to combat that without kind of making it harder.
You are a fixed ninja.
Whoa! I can never tell if a Bruce Lee impression is just intrinsically
racist. It is. We should let's talk about the fact that Elric has now pulled ahead, like far ahead. I think he did it during the second boss, but he's almost a full room ahead at this point.
He might be one room ahead. I don't know if far is the right word for that.
Well, in a speed run, one room.
He's probably 20, 15 seconds ahead.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm intrigued by this. Someone in Elric's room is saying, we have to come clean in this. Overpowdered has a handicap because Elric is Asian.
Do we have to talk about that?
I was reading the sentence before it was completed. It came out bit by bit, and now I regret reading the entire thing. I regret every moment that led to this point in my life.
Well, Elric actually celebrates his Asianness very often, and he very frequently attributes his gaming skills to it.
Alright.
Though he's maybe joking, I can't judge.
Can I convert?
I'm exempt from knowing.
Is it possible to convert?
No.
Imagine says 15-20 seconds in a speedrun is a ton. You're right. At the same time, though, that's enough for a rune to make a difference or a good weapon selection to make a difference.
Or a death.
Well, a death could definitely
if anyone does at this point.
Get hyped.
Yeah. So we get a chance to examine Elric and his use of the Morning Star. It's very seamless. Earlier, I mentioned that overpowdered was seamless in his, his play style where he's choosing targets.
Mm-hmm.
But I think actually, as I was saying that, it's because he had the Morningstar. Any decent Morningstar user is going to be looking at his next target before he dispatches his current target.
You got to be thinking about that counterclockwise motion.
Exactly.
The Morningstar is always swinging clockwise. So the more often you swing counterclockwise around your opponent, you can actually double the damage on them. And that's another thing that on normal, it's a good tip. It puts out a little more damage, especially on bosses. But on hardcore, where enemies might take 3 or 4 hits, that's a way to double your kill speed.
I used to hate that weapon in the third boss because I couldn't, as you said, the counterclockwise motion is tough to get used to.
Mm-hmm.
But now I actually look forward to that part of the game. It's kind of fun. Because again, my playstyle was I just like to hold a button.
Right. Well, you don't even have to hold a button.
Exactly. It's even better than the machine gun because I just have to walk around.
We should have invented that ride a robotic friend weapon where you just ride on their back and push no buttons.
Yes.
They just move and attack, and yeah, that wasn't a thing. It could be. This room is not treating Elric well. I'm reading chat when I say that. I have no opinions. I'm devoid of opinions.
He's doing fine. He just picked up a sprint rune, which is always good in a speed run.
Is it?
Yeah.
Where at? We all love double damage rune, but outside of double damage rune, what's the best rune that you want in a normal difficulty speedrun?
Invincible, always.
Okay.
In fact, Elric and I talked about this quite a bit, and he actually swayed me on this, which it wasn't hard because he is adopting my actual original beliefs. But the only rune you really need is Invincible. Now you're gonna say, get all the runes; it increases the chance of rune drops, which I suppose is significantly, sure. But I like to know that when my rune's coming, it's going to be the invincibility rune, and it always helps me. And furthermore, Elric has gone so far as to say he does not need, ever, the double goop rune until hardcore mode, so he doesn't buy it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
He just doesn't buy it.
That's what I was going to say.
It's
it's another example of different strategy between regular and hardcore, because on hardcore, aside from double damage, I'd say it's a bit of a tie for my favorite rune between Invincible, Extra Combo, and Extra Goop, because all of those free me up to be a lot more aggressive.
I'm just going to go with Invincible all the way. I grant you double damage is great, especially on the final boss. It's amazing.
I go double damage over Invincible in every situation.
Not me.
Because I'm way more concerned with keeping my combo than I am with my own health. Health is generally, as we're seeing with both these competitors, not a short-term issue.
Sure, yeah, but sometimes when I get a little bit too aggressive or when just, I don't know, fate hasn't gone my way, my health starts to get a little bit low. And when I get Invincible, not only does it allow me not to worry about, taking those last few hits and dying, it allows me to quickly just cleave through everybody and farm up all my health. Because I kill faster because I'm not taking any hits, I'm not losing combo when I take a hit,
Let me take a couple questions from chat, because I've seen some from a couple rooms. Imagine just asked, what does Extra Combo actually do? Extra Combo, while it's active, guarantees that any action you do that generates combo, whether it be picking up goop or killing an enemy, gives you twice as much combo value. So if an enemy would usually give you, say, 10% of your meter, then it'll give you 20% of your meter instead. And if goop would give you, 5%, it gives you 10%. So it's one of those that helps you more in your first climb through the game than in, say, a speedrun. I would say unless you're in hardcore mode, where you do indeed need to watch your combo a lot more, and where keeping your combo is going to keep your damage higher. As well as that secretive new mode that we'll be adding this week, wherein, again, keeping your combo will really help you get further, help you do more damage long term. Because every moment that you've lost your combo, for even a moment, is going to permanently reduce your total maximum damage output, whatever it could have been. If you lose half a level one time, you'll forever be a little bit behind the curve. Which isn't to say that you might always feel it, because it's possible to out-level the enemies, but you will out-level them less than if you had just full comboed the whole game.
I'm actually starting to worry about Overpowdered Lol's health a little bit.
That's going to become an issue.
I mean, it may.
He has left a number of rooms without picking up all the health, and I think that's why he's got his speed edge right now. Well, I mean, it's one small facet. But definitely, I think we all go through that when we're blazing as fast as we can, but a rebuilding period now and then. Because that rebuilding period, just making sure to again, if you pick up health sooner, you'll get health sooner. The more health is already on the floor, the less health you get. I think that kind of rebuilding period of trying to prioritize health pickups. Personally, I think it's good strategy. I think it's good to go through kind of ebbs and flows of your health because for as long as you're sitting on full health, you're theoretically sitting on speed that you could have had. So I think ebbing up and down is the way to go.
Probably,
as long as you keep it in mind. You never want to be at like 2 or 3 less. That's when you start to get a little timid, and that'll slow down your run.
Well, Overpowered is a seasoned min-maxer. However...
Ooh, big double pickup right there. Big swing.
We are getting into uncharted territory somewhat for him at this point. He's only played Depth 5 a couple of times. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but as I become worried about his health, he picks it up like a pro, no problem.
Yep. So we got another question from Overpowered's chat from Legend of Zora. Developers, what made us want to make the Weaponographist? Should we do a quick little origin story?
Sure, yeah.
All right. So I guess it started from a place of wanting to do kind of a role-playing game, which is not what it at all, I would argue, turned out to be. Kind of a role-playing game with like weaknesses and different weapons and strategy, but that was fast, kind of like totally real-time. And we were playing with different ways to make like hierarchical menus, make it real-time and fast. And we had this completely other game idea where it was kind of all about combos. Like the faster you go, the stronger you get. If you ever drop your combo, you get weaker. You get stronger for killing enemies. And in part, I'll say that was kind of maybe inspired by like Shinobi for PlayStation 2. And so we had these couple very divergent game ideas. One was kind of like was called Football Helmet Jones, where like this guy would just charge through people with his head down, like cleaving them apart, like just destroying them with his head and never.
And that was going to be
down.
the whole game, just an action like headbutts game, basically.
And that kind of turned into this idea where you could possess your enemies to take their weapons. Instead of actually picking up their weapon, you would like weaken them, and then you would possess their body. And having possessed their body, you would have access to fully new ability sets, and there'd be no consistency across all of your different creatures you'd possessed. And I think we found that the mechanic for it was just too complicated, like what determines when you can possess them and all that. And so I guess the quick answer is this was a refinement process from both of those ideas. Constantly trying to figure out what about those ideas appealed to us, what did we think was fun about them versus what was kind of unnecessary fluff. And so this is the love child of Football Helmet Jones and the possession game.
Sure.
And our little real-time RPG. Elric hits the boss. Elric is one full room ahead.
And he's stopping to pick up goop. He can't help himself. He loves that goop.
I have another question from Resurrection King. Devs, did we have trouble designing what the game would look like? I think tonally we always knew what we wanted it to look like. We wanted it to be kind of gory but lighthearted, dark without being like gothic and spooky. Like Diablo, violence. Exactly. Like Diablo, I love Diablo, but I didn't want to do like the grim and gritty modern Batman, scary everything. And so it's really important to me that we did like blast of blood and stuff, but we did it in such a way that it was more Looney Tunes than serious. But I think I'll speak for me and not for Dave. I'm a terrible, terrible butt of an artist, and so
we hired an art team that we worked with.
We worked with an art team. Mike
hope
Shanks
to work
is our
with
character
again.
designer, and he is a god among men, among other gods who are also men.
Mike Shanks.
Shanksy. He's the Shanksiest.
Oh, no, that was so good almost.
What?
Sorry. So the tuba strat I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I didn't know it.
Overpowdered level 9 with a tuba, laying into the fourth boss, and he missed. He got knocked away. Oh. Had he not gotten knocked away, he probably would have melted the boss a lot sooner. He still did a good job, but the knockback really hurt him. Took like 20 seconds away from him.
We had another question from Overpowdered Devs. Do we lift? I'm gonna just presume you've never seen us, and I'll describe. Yeah, we're jacked. We're like 6'5". Typically, we've given up on gyms because they don't let you lift a car indoors. we're like genuinely huge and buff people, and don't look at our camera and find out otherwise. You'll be let down.
Yeah, I don't lift.
No, we're I'd say we're both scrawny. Is that fair?
No, I'm fat.
Fat and scrawny.
Right, I'm somehow fat and scrawny. I'm shaped like Hank Hill, but if he was a girl.
You do have luscious breasts.
Yeah.
just laughed at that.
Because it's funny because it's true.
Just lifts enough for both of us, she says.
That is true.
That
Danny's
is very
wife
true.
can bench.
My wife is the jacked one. In a fight, she would win. Except she underestimated man strength every time. I bet that's really depressing for any female that works out. That like they can look amazing and they can be like the strongest girl alive, but like there's somewhere out there's some scrawny loser of a guy who just strength-wise.
You realize we're broadcasting
I
this,
know.
right?
Is that offensive? I don't know. That's
Yeah, it is. It's true, but
science.
it's offensive. Girls don't like it.
Man, so we're in depth 5, and there's a one-room difference between Elric and Powdered.
There is, although that one-room difference has grown just a little bit.
Just a hair.
Powdered had a little bit of problem with the fourth boss.
I mean, at the most optimized level, you can call that problem. That was pretty blazed through.
Yeah, no, a problem beating him as quickly as Elric did. Elric beat him pretty quickly, without the tuba.
Well, I'm looking at room 4, room 3. They are literally one room apart.
Yep.
Crazy pants. This is the longest depth. So actually, that's worth noting. Every depth is longer than the last. So every depth provides kind of a bigger opportunity for a comeback. And I'd say it's still definitely anybody's game. One good rune, one good room.
Oh, for sure.
Like one good room. If somebody gets that most hated Bellows and Cerberus room, then that's a room that slows you down, I find. I'm going to spoil one of our patches for the upcoming patch. That room won't exist anymore, not in the same form, because I think that room does slow you down. All the rooms are meant to be somewhat fair in terms of time spent, but that room is a little bit slower, and so that room is going to be modified in the patch.
Get overpowered, surviving the Slime Store like a champion.
Just in and out.
Slime Storm
blazing
is
through.
not easy on depth 5.
Yep. A couple more questions. What door opens in a room? Is it random, or can it be predicted? It is random. The only predictive element maybe is that it'll never twist back on itself. You'll always go on a unique path without backtracking. Elric got ganked there. That did not seem fair. That one hit he took.
So the only real exception to that, though, is Boss 4. The door that leads to Boss 4 always has to open from the top of the room.
Yes, if you want to super optimize, if you're in the checkpoint room, the second checkpoint room of depth 4, because you're going to be standing on that ledge, he will always be at the top and you'll always be at the bottom.
Which means the game has to be smart enough to determine your path 2 rooms ahead.
Right. Yes.
Which it is now.
It is. Indeed.
Smart enough.
You're smart enough.
Kraken room. So this is one of those things that can really screw up a run. Elric is no stranger to depth 5 or to any aspect of the game at this point. He is punching Krakens to death. So that's awesome. But I was worried for him for a second. Oh, Kraken room straight into a Slime Storm.
It's tough.
Yeah.
But Overpowdered making this look easy, looking like a boss.
At this point, yeah, he's got the double goop rune, which is interesting because
Not useful in a normal speedrun.
yeah, he explicitly purchased it though. He must have wanted it.
I mean,
He didn't have it.
who wouldn't want all that delicious goop?
All right. Still in the Slime Storm for Elric.
Mm-hmm.
Tends to slow you down.
We got another question from chat. What software was used to make the game? Well, so this game and our previous game are both built in Java, actually. Java's got a bad rep, but it is undeserved, in my humble opinion.
Does it really have a bad rep?
It still does, yeah. It's left over from like a decade of bad rep. But at this point, like there's still, at the most optimized level, I see the argument. But really, you're not generally working at that level. Not usually for... At least certainly for games of this nature. But yeah, it's built in Java in LWJGL, Lightweight Java Game Library, which is an OpenGL wrapper, and then it's just a custom in-house framework for all graphics and sounds and physics and whatnot. So yeah, it's the Puuba framework, I guess, in Java.
Or Wiener for short.
Right, it's called the Wiener, the Weaponographist. What is it? Let's. So this tournament is called
The Weaponographist Expeditious Internet Explorer Racing League.
The Wiener League.
Right.
Right.
Because you did that.
I did that.
Are you worried that we will upset Internet Explorer? It's spelled as 2 words, so
no.
Internet.
No, that never even occurred
funny
to me.
That you made net its own word.
Because I needed the IN.
Right. Also, worth noting, Internet Explorer is actually not being used by anyone right now during this whole thing.
I'm using it.
Are you?
Yeah, I always use it.
Alright, well, you're using it.
You're bad. Why are you bad?
I'm using Firefox. I'm probably getting hacked right now.
You're not on the internet, are you?
Speaking of the Cerberus and Chimney Sweep room, it is happening.
It is.
Elric is in this
Elric
room.
made pretty
The
short
dreaded.
work of it. Oh, well, he did when he had a spear. Now you can see he's taking more hits.
Yeah.
He's taking hits for speed, which is, I think that's the right move, as long as you can afford it. If you can
Yikes, he's
afford
taking a
the
lot
help-
of hits, though.
Yeah, that's the right move for me. That room is irritating, which is why we're changing it in patch. But I think the right move, if you can afford it, is just take those hits and get in, get out.
And confirmed Elric is now 2 rooms ahead of Overpowered Lol.
Elder Druid, yeah, I heard about that. They are changing the name of Internet Explorer. I can't think of what it's called anymore. I was going to say Longhorn, but that was Windows 7, wasn't it?
I think they're calling it Wiener.
Are they calling it Wiener? So now we have to get on their case for stealing our name.
Yeah, I'd say it's a push.
Yeah.
Push
Dave,
the
I'm going to throw you a couple questions from chat, from Overpowered's room.
Because I can't look at chat and talk at the same time.
Right.
It's totally true.
Did we have a testing team, or did we test the game ourselves with friends and family?
The testing team is wearing my shirt right now.
The testing team is Dave.
But yeah, I mean, I don't want to be a total jerk about it. Other people helped out for sure. Danny had some close friends who played it a lot by choice because they like Danny and they like the games that he makes. We had our publisher put it through a round of playtesting. It was kind of late in the game. I was pleased to hear that I hadn't missed any like fatal stuff.
Anything, actually.
Well, something.
Like,
and you know what? It's not fair to say I'm the only tester. Danny is a tester as well. He like naturally tests as he builds, and he constantly finds stuff that I probably would have missed that would break the game. So there's really 2 testers on the team.
Well, and Dave's selling himself short. So yes, friends kicked in for playtesting, balance testing, things like that. A lot of notes about strength and things. But Dave's our only genuine full-time bug tester. So props to him, because we seem to have shipped with no bugs, or nothing beyond like one aesthetic bug I'm aware of, which is pretty cool.
Well, there's always the DLC.
Right. Let's hope we get something really wrong there.
I'm trying to figure out, outside of my box and shirt, what am I missing? There's got to be something, but the DLC's pretty solid right now.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Room 13 clear now for Elric. He's getting very close to the end game and has nearly full health.
I'd say they're in a similar boat that way. I don't think.
Well, they are.
I don't think health will be an issue for either of these guys, unless Billiam poses a real problem. I think we're good on health.
It's true that Overpowered is a bit more reckless with health, and maybe he's just very comfortable playing in that way, and it's something that makes me nervous. But it's he who has to defeat the boss, not me.
So you'd be nervous with, what is that, 10 health?
Well, when I said it, he was at 8. But yeah, if on a full run, and I'm speaking of like more recent memory of hardcore runs, I've gotten all the way to the final boss and I lose.
Yeah.
He's tough. He's a game in and of himself.
Yeah, William can be tough.
7 or 8 different enemy types coming at you, and he is no shortage of attack patterns himself. He's pretty much a full level.
Yeah. Yeah, he can take a bit too.
Yeah. And I always find, that I look at my old full run records, and it's like I'll get to him, and my previous record is something like 58 minutes, and I get to him at like 49 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I'm totally gonna beat it. I spend 10 minutes fighting him.
Yeah, he can be a run killer actually.
Yeah.
I've got 2 or 3 major strategies that I bear in mind for Billiam for the boss of Depth 5. I'm really gonna be interested to see how these guys both approach it. I think it'll be fun to learn some new techniques, which is a lot. I've learned a lot of new techniques from watching all these guys stream.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Every time I watch someone play it seriously. Sometimes I watch people kind of just give up in the first second and go, oh, I don't know what this is.
And then I've learned our game is bad. That's what I learned.
Well, no, that's when I learned that person is just not paying attention because the game's amazing.
Oh, my bad.
No, but when I watch people play the game, for meaningful stretches of time, yeah, I always learn something new.
There's a surprising number of tweaks that came in the late hours of development just by watching people stream early builds, and then there's still a decent handful of tweaks that have come in this patch, kind of like ninja changes beyond the new feature adds, that are again just based on watching these guys stream. Like, you guys don't even know. Sometimes you'll make a really offhand comment and be like, "Oh, I wish X worked differently," or you won't even say it. You'll just kind of grumble quietly and be like, "Oh, this." Be like, they're right, and then that might be changed in this upcoming version.
Yeah, the best example of that really is, satyr behavior.
Satyr behavior has changed
a little bit.
Yeah.
Doug's, let's say the relative tightness at which he accelerates has been tightened.
That what do you call it? Chimney sweep and Cerberus room is no more.
Well, it's not that it's no more. I mean, it's not really a
different.
spoiler, but we added a guy that makes it easier.
Yeah. I think we're going to see these competitors finish not more than a minute apart, something like that. It's going to be close still.
Yeah. It's been close the whole time.
Yeah.
That's what's really amazing to me.
It is definitely genuinely still anyone's race.
As we get in the final kind of throes of it, it's when I'm zoning out and kind of watching him because I'm getting really excited.
So, overpowdered using advanced strats with the barrel there. So, the barrel makes you run a lot faster when you're using it. But you can use it offensively or kind of for speed. So, you push magic once to put on the barrel, run around super fast, and push it again to explode, doing really high, usually fatal damage on any enemies in range. But the other way you can use it, kind of advanced strat-wise, is to use it when your room is done, and use it to run out the door. Because if you leave a room with it on, if it hasn't exploded, you'll actually take it back off in the next room, which allows you to kind of get a triple speed sprint for as many turns as you want, as long as you don't explode or pick up any magic.
So I just felt bad for a second and checked chat because I thought, oh, why does Danny have to be the one that reads all the chat all the time? I'm being lazy. And I look at one random comment, which is from Monica, to say that she doesn't remember my luscious breasts, at which point I realized that if I am to find out that I've been saying the things I've been saying, I'm going to stop saying them.
First man is at Billiam. Elric just entered room 20 Billiam. Curious.
I cannot contain my excitement.
Opens up strong with the holy water right under his feet. Overpowdered, killing some shield knights, about to leave room 17. Still in it, depends how this fight goes. A big part
Sorry, yeah, he missed with the tuba, or the tuba drove William away.
A big part of this fight is, when he decides to teleport away, when he decides to evade you, deciding when to attack him instead of farming levels off his minions, and whether he decides to use that power-up that lets him counter your abilities. Billiam actually has a power-up that lets him glow red, and whenever he's glowing red, if you interrupt his 3-hit attack combo, he will counter you by pushing you away, using stabs, and using that smoke bomb teleport attack. And so now Elric's almost got him there. Once he's half dead, that's on the table. Ooh, that might be it. That's a lucky move and weapon combination. Billiam using that laser eyes while Elric has the hammer. That is one of the best times to pour damage out.
Elric body blocking him on his way to laser.
Ooh. Okay, you might not get the kill before the lasers are over.
He's trying to burn him down, but he's losing. Trying to punch him down. That is, it's unnecessary.
Billiam is using those teleports smartly. All right, we have first competitor complete.
That's going to be it.
First competitor is complete, Elric. Definitely, I want to see Overpowdered's Billiam strats, though. I'm intrigued. Elric, congrats on being first winner round 1, but Overpowdered, there is still, obviously, it's a double elimination tournament, and this was a super, super strong run, so I would be more than shocked if you didn't win several more rounds in that bracket. So there's still opportunity to come back and even to win first place in this tournament. But again, Elric, congrats on being...
Elric with a time of 48 minutes or so.
Elric is the most handsome man of the day. But Overpowdered is the most all-around attractive man of the day. So there's multiple categories.
Well, you're saying that because Elric actually does not have his cam turned on.
Oh man, yeah. What?
Yup.
30-second red. Look at Overpowdered just already burning down Billiam. See, Overpowdered's taking that different strategy. He's not farming the levels off those enemies. If he loses level 9, then his DPS is going to go down considerably. And so that's always the push and pull here, is making sure that you balance keeping your levels with hurting the guy. So my strategy on Billiam is always... OP is always the most attractive. I agree with that very strongly. So my strategy here is I try to always keep level 10, at least 9. Like if I see my combo drifting toward losing level 9, I'll go around and farm up some enemies.
I've actually seen you get as high as level 12 on this boss, which I think is impossible.
You can do. That's more for fun. That's not a good use of time. Like, yeah, your damage skyrockets at level 12. You'll kill him in like 5 hits. But at the same time, there's not real value in killing him that fast, because by the time you got level 12, he could have already been dead. So it's more for play, more for show. All right.
Overpowdered. Punched him down.
Clean it up. That was extremely tight. Overpowdered. Congratulations. I'm going to stop the game clock. Gentlemen, both of you, super well done. That was something to behold. That was cool.
You guys can unmute yourselves now if you want to.
If you want to chat. And sorry we've been rambling at you. I did not occur to me that we'd be audible through both of you guys' chats.
What is up, guys?
I
was actually expecting you guys to close the call whenever we started, but you guys just kept it open.
Yeah, it never even occurred to us.
That was hilarious.
Like 10
how
minutes
did that mess with your mind and change your strategy?
it was actually fine. It just let me know how far ahead he was the whole time.
Oh man. Well, he wasn't ahead the whole time. He was what? He opened up stronger. You swung back in depth 2 and took the lead for a while, and then it swung back the other way somewhere like late depth 2 or even depth 3.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was close the whole way. That was awesome. I'm excited to see more matches, and I am excited to see your next match because I think it's gonna be pretty intense, pretty cool.
By how many like minutes or like seconds did he actually beat me?
I have you at roughly 2 minutes behind.
Oh really? I thought it was less. No, I thought it was less.
He's.
I mean, I didn't get the seconds. I just had Elric at 48 minutes and Overpowered at 50 minutes.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I was gonna say just over a minute. On the clock, yeah.
It was very very
5,
close the whole time.
Yeah, depth 5 split it up a little bit more. It was like room and room, neck and neck the whole way until depth 5 put a little bit more space between. How you feeling? How you feeling about the end of round 1?
Pretty okay. I mean,
yeah.
It definitely lost to someone who plays this a lot. That was actually my first time doing it all in one run.
Oh,
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So you've got a new record.
First time. Yeah, I guess, yeah.
The man's a cyborg.
No, that's cool.
Put a game in front of him and he will crush it.
Hello! Sorry.
Did we get cursed again?
We got cursed again.
Welcome, Elric.
He automatically wins the cute race with that one.
Yeah.
Hi.
So we're trying to get cursed again over there?
Yes, we've beat the game and now we're cursed all over again. So we have to beat it one more time.
So how are you feeling? Are you doing a victory lap?
I am. The boss was such a troll. He disappeared so many times.
I saw those pine cones and he kept barely dodging them with teleports.
Yeah.
Can we go to the playground?
We can go to the playground now.
You earned it.
Elric,
Awesome.
we appreciate your sacrifice of your time when you should be at the playground.
Yes, it's been demanded of me as we speak.
All right. Do you have any parting words for the end of round 1?
What was that?
Do you have any parting words for the end of round 1 before the playground?
Before the playground, amazing game, overpowered, amazing competitor. I thought you were actually going to beat me when the boss was trolling me so hard. I spent minutes upon minutes in that room.
As soon as they told me that you were like 3 rooms ahead of me, I'm like, oh god. I'm like, here we go.
You were ahead though. You came out like a racehorse, like a beast.
Yeah.
You were a couple of rooms ahead of me by the time you got to room 2 or dungeon 2.
Yeah, it's like I only know Dungeon 1 and Dungeon 2. Dungeon 3, 4, and 5 were like completely like random for me. I didn't know what to expect.
I can understand that. It's definitely a new crazy thing. And I heard that you were changing the bellow room.
Yes.
Because Dave, I think, was the one that cursed me when he mentioned the room. And then the very next room was the frickin' bellows and dogs.
Yep. Yep, I'm hoping. What are we looking at for that patch? Friday, maybe Wednesday, probably Friday.
It is contingent upon a couple of other X factors beyond our control,
Yes.
but we are talking about Friday for it. If all goes well.
Whole bunch of new play modes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, this was awesome. I thought this went real well, and I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys had fun too.
Yeah, very happy to start this off. It was actually pretty nice. You know, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It was great having you guys here. It was good starting with seasoned streamers, serious about the game.
Yeah.
But we are just getting started, so this is going to be happening a bunch of more times. The next time should be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. PST with, I want to say Imagine 42 and Jammy Antics, but I could be wrong.
Woo woo.
Yeah, everybody should go follow and watch Overpowdered.
Absolutely.
LOL. He streams every day. He's a full-time streamer. Times do you stream Overpowdered?
I
6
started
p.m. to
at
midnight.
6 p.m. to midnight Eastern time.
There you go. Every day.
Yes, if you guys haven't followed anybody in any channel and anywhere in the world, Overpowdered LOL and Elric M, competitors today, definitely give them a follow because they are the greatest men alive.
Both streamers on the Fallout Zone, worth mentioning, a group of streamers who are generally fantastic in every way.
Thanks.
We are pretty cool.
I agree.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess we should probably close up shop here. Danny, any parting words?
No, just that I'm really excited for this to see what comes for tomorrow's matches and for the upcoming round 2. I'll update the brackets in just a minute on the website, and really excited both you guys' next matches because that was awesome. That was awesome to watch.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It really was.
So both of you guys stay in touch with us over Skype so we can schedule you for your next round. And likewise, if the competitors for tomorrow are listening, or just all the competitors in general, make sure that you are aware of when your next scheduled time is, and please get on Skype with us and show up.
Yeah, I can't wait to see tomorrow. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun.
versus Imagine, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm going to let you guys go and do your own thing, get back to your own channels and whatnot. But you guys are the best, and that was amazing. Thank you. That was cool.
All right, take care. I'm off to the park.
All right, later, guys.
See you guys.
Enjoy.
All right, so
Hey now.
we're streaming for just another minute. Thought
I
we'd
figured
maybe just give some
sounds
final thoughts before we hang up.
Sure, yeah.
I thought that was awesome.
It was
Was
fun.
that everything you had hoped for?
I don't know. I always hoped that I would be sound sexier and more entertaining, but I think I did a pretty good job.
I think you're a beautiful, beautiful man.
You were very sexy the whole time.
Thank you. Thank you. Look at you.
So let's get this on YouTube so that millions of people can watch it.
All right. Everybody in chat, thank you for dropping by. I hope you guys had fun because I thought that was